All right, everyone. So we've been talking a lot about the fact that Biden is better than Trump. And it's easy to say that, but I think actually talking about the ways in which Biden is better than Trump and the actions he's taking to prove that are probably going to be a lot louder speaking than words themselves, which is why I focus so much of my content lately on talking about Biden's achievements, and this is going to be another one of those videos. If you're a lefty, or a progressive in America, chances are one of the forefront issues you care about, something that's extremely simple, theoretically speaking, for a president to solve or fix, that is very popular to solve or fix, is the issue of student loans. There are a combined, hundreds of billions, if not maybe trillions of dollars in student loans cumulatively. If you took all the student loan debt in America and combined it together, just an insane amount of student loan debt exists out there. Some people have more than others. Trillions? You think so? I know it's at least hundreds of billions. So with that in mind, it really does seem, I don't know, it seems like not a lot of people are talking about this. Not enough people are talking about this. It's supposed to be such a popular idea. Cancel student debt. Eliminate student debt. So many people deal with it. It would save so many people money to not have to worry about student debt payments. Well, that's something Biden started doing about a year ago. Maybe a little more, actually. He tried originally to cancel all student debt in one clean swipe. Just snapping his fingers, signing an executive order. Next day, no more student loans, you're free. Unfortunately, Donald Trump is the one. There's a cumulative $1.77 trillion in student debt. That is dropping quickly due to what we're about to talk about now, but that was at least the number at some point, maybe currently. Anyway, that's what I would have guessed, too. Like, at least a couple trillion is what I was thinking. But minimum would have to be in the hundreds of billions. Biden is having the government pay it back, right? I heard someone at my job say it was just getting Thanos now. There are ways in which they're going to reimburse, I'm sure. I don't know all the details about it. All I know is that as far as, the American voters are concerned, it means their student debt is going away. And it's not happening in one big swath. Biden has been doing it in chunks. Like how a shark would, eat an entire whale carcass on its own. Biden has been, slowly chipping away at that $1.77 trillion in cumulatively held student debt, and he's already done massive waves of student debt cancellation we've covered so far, but the most recent one just came in a few days ago. Biden forgives $7.7 billion more in student loans. Can you qualify? This is another $7.7 billion wave of student debt cancellations. Whenever he does these big waves of student debt cancellation, it's billions of dollars, by the way. It's not like pithy millions or pithy tens of millions or something. It's billions of dollars per student debt cancellation. He's taking big bites, to be fair, but it's just it's a big number he's got to reach, but he's taking big bites. Okay, I would have asked the guy at work, but I don't like talking it's all good, it's all good. Anyway, I've got a Yahoo Finance video here called Biden Forgives $7.7 billion more in student loans. Can you qualify? Obviously, if we can qualify, well, I can't qualify. I don't have any student loans, but some of you might. And if you can, you'll want to know. And I think it's important to talk about this. This also reminds me that Biden expanded VA benefits to those that were victim of burn pits and a bunch of other stuff as well. Biden's just on such a roll. It really sucks that I kind of feel like the only progressive talking about it, you know? I know I'm not, but it feels like it sometimes.
Loan borrowers are probably feeling pretty cheerful this morning after President Biden announced more cancellations of student loan debt. The Biden administration was going to erase another $7.7 billion in federal student loans for 163,000 borrowers. And for more on this, I'm joined by Yahoo Finance senior
160,000 Americans over that, but 160,000 Americans just got their student debt eliminated for a cumulative $7.7 billion of debt eliminated. Forgiven is the term for it. The debt has been forgiven.
Senior columnist Rick Newman. All right, Rick, what do we know about this?
It adds to the student debt relief that Biden has been doing on a piecemeal basis since the Supreme Court last year struck down his plan to.
No. Not 160K Americans are debt-free so far. The newest wave that Biden just did was 160,000 Americans having their student debt canceled for a cumulative, across all of them combined, $7.7 billion of debt forgiven.
Forgive up to $20,000 of student debt for most borrowers. So this has been coming out in dribs and drabs. The big picture here is the Biden administration now says they have put forward debt relief for about almost five.
What's the limit like on how much you get like canceled in this wave? Like if you get your debt canceled, it's up to 20,000 in this wave, I think he said. I know a lot of people who've had their debt entirely canceled, but a lot of people have much less than 20,000 in student debt. Not trickle down, not let the free market handle it, direct. Wait, what did you say that was trickle down? Hold on. That might have just been a bad use of that term.
Basis since the Supreme Court last year struck down his plan to forgive up to $20,000 of student debt for most borrowers. So,
oh, no, that was... Wait, never mind. No, that was the previous idea that the Supreme Court blocked. Biden eliminated all their debt, I think. I don't think there is a like threshold of how much, like if you got your debt canceled, how much of your debt got canceled. I think it's maybe all of it. Like if you got lucky in this wave, all your debt's gone, even if you had like 80 to 100K in student debt. You're just a big piece of that 7.7 billion number, I guess.
So this has been coming out in dribs and drabs. The big picture here is the Biden administration now says they have put forward debt relief for about almost 5 million people. There are more than 40 million people who have student debt, but Biden has been going after the things he thinks he can do on a legal basis that will survive some legal challenges that are out there. So a lot of people may.
It really sucks that Trump managed to keep so many Republicans in power that they can block Biden from being the best Biden he can be. All the while looking like the Republicans are not like in any way connected to it. Like it's all Biden's fault, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's rough. I saw a tweet today from Demon Mama. I didn't like, it's not necessarily like problematic. It's just something about the essence of it was like somewhat upsetting. I think it was something like, liberals are already preparing for Biden's probable loss in November. When he loses, they'll blame us for their mistakes. Something like that. It was like Biden's going to lose in November, and when he does, the liberals are going to get mad at us for not voting for him, as if it's our fault that Biden didn't do anything, like didn't do what we wanted, was like the essence of the tweet. And it's like, I mean, but where's the coverage of this stuff, you know? Like he's actually doing so much good. And like the areas in which Biden is lackluster are due to the latent Republicans from when Trump put them into power. Like appointed them. It's just another Trump victory is so fucking bad.
They have sort of stopped paying attention because this is coming out in a piecemeal fashion. But what people need to do is go to studentaid.gov and look for loan forgiveness on there, and then go through the steps to find out if you qualify. In general, what Biden has been doing is...
Holy shit, I had a coworker that got $44,000 of student debt forgiven. Holy hell, that must have felt nice, huh? Like, how big were those monthly payments, do you think? That's so much saved money a month now. Like, I do have to imagine that the more Americans get their student debt canceled, I think Biden's chances of winning get a little higher. People will notice no longer having to pay that monthly payment. People will notice that, like, they don't have to do that anymore and their debt got canceled. They will notice that, and they will know who is behind that if they care to look into why they no longer have to pay their student loans, which is, you know, a little bit important. Listen, guys, there is one thing that most other lefty content creators online don't have that I do, okay? And that's having once been a conservative, all right? I've been politically where many on the left have never been. It's given me some perspective into how, like, certain areas of politics think and where certain similarities exist that put me off of, like, certain left-wing ideas. And one of them is like the hyper populism. I'm not a big fan of the hyper populism. Not a big fan. But I get to be more anti-populist with each passing day.
This is not debt relief for people who just graduated for the most part. It tends to be targeted at people who have been paying back their loans for some period of time. And there are a whole different range of programs where you can get debt relief based on if you qualify through your income.
Oh, yeah. By the way, this is not even, like, the only way to get your student debt relieved or canceled or forgiven, by the way. Obviously, Biden is doing these waves of debt forgiveness, but obviously whether or not everyone's student debt gets forgiven is going to rely on the results of the upcoming election. So he has set up other programs and has funded, and, you know, there are programs you can seek out to even help if you've yet to have your student debt canceled or forgiven with Biden's current plan. I'm not American, but my theory is if Biden wins again in November, I think the online left will become a lot less toxic now that they can get someone else in. Yeah, like, we basically just got to get Biden elected. The problem is, though, once again, there'll be, like, a beloved by the online left, like, borderline socialist candidate that's, like, you know, the next Bernie that the entire online left will get hyped for. There'll be this, like, false perception that, like, socialism and this, like, radical progressivism is more popular in the Democratic Party than it really is, just like every time before when Bernie ran. And then Bernie will lose, and everyone will be like, how did he lose? How did he lose? And get so bitter and upset about it, there'll be a whole new don't vote for the person who won the Democratic primary over our guy. They won't be Bernie or Busters, they'll be whoever it is in Busters, right? It'll always be a problem with the left where, like, if the ideal guy doesn't win, then a bunch of people will just decide they're not going to participate in the election at all.
Worked in the public sector, other things like that. So there are a whole range of programs. Nobody can keep track of all of them. So go to that website, studentaid.gov, and find out if you qualify.
This is one of the most, like, substantial policies Biden's made, I think, that will help his reelection, by the way. Not his best policy by far. I mean, he's done policy decisions that will actually potentially save the planet, looking back in hindsight. The coal, eliminating the coal industry by 2030 thing, which will eliminate 80% of our carbon footprint per year, is fucking insane. Unprecedented. Literally, just, like, we'd catch up to China. And then some, I think, with how much they've been eliminating their carbon output and their carbon footprint. Climate change is like the White Walkers. It's like an existential crisis separate from it doesn't matter who you are, what your politics are, what your identity is, or even really how much money you make after a certain extent. Climate change is going to ruin your life. Maybe end you one way or the other, depending on who you are or where you are. Climate change is going to fuck shit up, and it doesn't matter if you're so wealthy you can afford to live in a vault like from Fallout. That's still gonna suck compared to if climate change didn't happen. It is an existential threat to all humanity. More so humanity in areas that don't have the infrastructure to handle the extreme weather, but, like, you've seen what's been happening in America. Like, entire, like, towns in Florida are going to be wiped off the map by freak hurricanes. It's already, like, happening. Like, it's already happening. It's happened all up the East Coast. The droughts are going to get worse on the West Coast to the point where it's like a blazing hellscape. We might eventually have to move the majority of American civilization inland. To, like, inland and to the north, maybe along the Great Lakes would be, like, the most habitable area, like, in 100 years, 50 years if climate change continues unabated. But I don't even know where, really. It'd be a nightmare. It'd be an actual nightmare. And so the fact that Biden cares about climate change alone is such a massive boost over Trump that the conversation should end right there about who's better to vote for with any, like, progressive. Just right there, the conversation should be over. And not just over, but, like, it should be understood that criticizing the better guy in a way that might lead people to not want to support the better guy is, like, actively harmful to, like, the future of humanity. And it's what upsets me about a lot of the left right now is, like, I mean, like, just Biden's position on climate change alone is so much better than Trump's. It's like, the conversation should end right there. We don't need to talk anymore. We could, but we don't need to.
Does this seem like it's moving the needle among voters as we get towards November? I mean, we're still, a ways off from it at this juncture, but we're closer than yesterday, Rick.
Man, I have no idea, Brad. A couple things to say about that. First, there are basically polls.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention the tornadoes. They're getting worse, too. More common and just worse. Just insane. Like, I assume you guys have seen the videos that have been coming out lately. Like, the tornado season this year has been one of the worst we've ever had. Genuinely. Twister 2 could not have picked a better time to come out.
Every day. And let's remind everybody, the polls that matter are the ones in 6 or 7 swing states that are going to decide this election. That is Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Nevada. The latest polls show Trump and Biden, the two likely candidates, are very close. Trump basically has a small lead at this point, but it's still far out from the election. Even though
Trump, it's been going back and forth, but generally Trump's held the lead. To be clear, though, you have to remember, most people who are just kind of meh on politics are more likely to vote for Biden, but those are not the kind of people who are going to vote in a poll this early before the election. But the people who support Trump are so loud and outspoken in their support of him, they will seek out polls like this to make it look like Trump's chances are better. Apparently, Tornado Alley will be shifting east. Ooh, scary.
The media have to talk about it all the time. A lot of voters aren't really thinking about who's going to get their vote if they happen to be undecided until September or October. So we're still a ways out, but this election, like the election in 2020, is very likely to be decided by a very small group of voters in just those handful of states. So it is very important to both candidates that they literally go after every voter they can. And I think that means we'll probably see more student debt relief coming from the Biden White House before we get to know.
I wish that living in one of those purple states didn't suck a massive cock so I could, happily move to one and become a blue vote there, Like, Georgia. Like, if Georgia didn't suck a massive, sweaty, dirty asshole, I would move to Georgia and, become one extra blue Georgia vote. 0.01101% chance closer to a Blorgia, just with my vote, right? Or maybe Michigan or Minnesota or something, right? Minnesota might go purple, yeah. There's also a matter of moving to a red state to make it purple, But unfortunately, the Republicans are actively making states where they have even a little control so unpleasant to live in if you're a minority or left-leaning that they leave. And then the vote gets solider red, stronger and stronger red as progressive people and those that are marginalized move to states that aren't going to impose on their rights. But at the same time, you're leaving that voter population and no longer having a voice politically in that place, basically ceding that land to control by the Republicans. And when it comes to national elections, that matters. I mean, even when it comes to the House and Senate, that matters. They're going to have representation in D.C., whether we like it or not. Is it just me or is the audio glitched the fuck out? Chat, how's audio? Is audio good? Chat, audio check? It's fine? Okay, Glitchy Fruit must just be having a glitch. I'd recommend refreshing your page, Glitchy Fruit. Anyway, Another reason why you should vote for Biden, as if we needed more. I mean, I like that there's more. I like that Biden continues to be good and do good, and continues to provide me with reasons why I should vote for him. But man, he's given us the hard sell. It's still not enough for a lot of lefties, though. I don't know. I think like in 4 to 6 months, when the election comes around, I don't think Israel-Palestine's going to be as relevant. It's already kind of losing steam in terms of online discussion and mainstream coverage, as like any topic ever does in the news. And it's losing like the profitability to virtue signal or grift off of for like people like Hassan. And I think as that happens, the anger at Biden over Israel-Palestine is going to fizzle out. I think a lot of it's going to fizzle out as people stop caring, as like the timer on how long people tend to care about a thing online runs out, you know? Happened for Ukraine, happened with like the BLM stuff. Like, when was the last time you saw like anywhere near as many people expressing how pro BLM they are as they were back then? Like, obviously I talk about how BLM was good, and I even reference that time frequently. But it feels like people just move right on to the next thing, you know? So vote blue, down ballot, all the way down ballot on everything, not just the president, on every referendum, on every bill, on every single representative, down ballot, you vote blue. And then like on the specific issues that are being voted on, because you might be able to vote on like a particular bill or a law or a referendum. Do your research if you don't know what Bill S2 420 is, right? If they don't know what that is, and they don't explain it very well on the ballot, Google what that bill is, do your research, and vote accordingly. Get a mail-in ballot. Highly recommend getting a mail-in ballot. You can sit at your computer and vote on the mail-in ballot and then mail it. And if you have any questions, if you're confused about a thing on your ballot, just fucking Google it. If you see a person on your ballot and you're like, which Democrat should I vote for? You can Google their names right then and there. And if you've never heard of them before, and see which one of them has like the best looking thing, you know? Mail-in ballots are so much better. So much better. So please vote. Seriously. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like, because every single thumbs up really does go a long way, no matter when, where, or what you're watching. And don't forget, follow my social medias, linked down below in the description. Comment, subscribe, and ring the bell icon to see more from me. And of course, make sure to support me financially if you can, and if you want to. It really does help out a lot. You can donate, subscribe, or gift a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, or Patreon, or buying merch in the Streamlabs link down below as well. Though don't forget, I have a link to my Discord down below too. It is the hub of my fan base, my main core to my community. We do watch parties, game events, and call-in streams there, and I announce all my uploads and streams there. So I highly recommend you join. I'm actually hosting a watch party after stream today there, so make sure to join now if you haven't already. I hope to see you there. We're gonna be watch partying Rings of Power. I'm so fucking hyped. I haven't seen it in a while, and I liked it. And I haven't rewatched it in quite a while, so I'm down. I'm ready for a rewatch. And I know a lot of you guys haven't seen it. You guys get to find out if the woke Lord of the Rings show is really as bad as everyone says it is. It's not. It's actually pretty good. I wouldn't say it's Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings good, but it's better than your average TV show. I would say it's better than a lot of Game of Thrones, I would say. It's better than a lot of Game of Thrones. Not all of Game of Thrones, but a lot of it. So far. Anyway. Come join the Discord. I hope to see you here. I hope you enjoyed. And as always, thank you for watching.